Today, we're looking at a story about a choice. You know, one of those forks in the road that defines a life. It's about a man who could have had a prestigious, comfortable life in the city, but instead chose a life of purpose up in the mountains. We're going to dig into what makes a doctor walk away from it all.
So this is Dr. Major Abhinav Aswal. He literally had it all laid out for him. A distinguished military career, a clear path to success, but he chose this instead. And the question that just hangs in the air is, why? What could possibly make someone turn their back on a guaranteed future to dedicate their life to these remote communities?
All right, so let's get some background on Dr. Aswal. He's a graduate of the prestigious Armed Forces Medical College in Pune, and for 7 years he served as a commissioned officer and major in the Indian Army. I mean, that's a career where he's learning incredible discipline and serving his country.
So after his time in the military, he's at this major crossroads. He had options, really good ones. He could have easily joined a top hospital in a big city, or, hey, even taken over his own father's successful pathology lab. But he didn't. He felt this pull, this calling that took him right back to the mountains where he grew up.
So what was it? What was the big turning point? You know, these things are rarely a slow burn. It's usually a single dramatic event that just completely flips a switch and redefines your whole purpose. And for him, that's exactly what happened.
Picture this. He's on duty with the army, and a massive flash flood just rips through a remote village. Total devastation. Dr. Aswal gets deployed to the area to help the civilians who are just caught in this absolute disaster.
In the middle of all that chaos, he helps pull a young girl from the wreckage and gets her to a local hospital. He probably thought the worst was over. But when he goes to check on her the next day, oh man, the situation was grim. This little girl, who was conscious just hours before, was now totally unresponsive and just fading away.
And here's the absolutely heartbreaking part. The problem was the hospital itself. It was completely overwhelmed and just didn't have the resources. There wasn't a pediatrician in sight, and their CT scanner? Broken. The very system that was supposed to save her was failing her right in front of his eyes.
Then, in this moment of just sheer unbelievable luck, Dr. Aswal hears a helicopter landing nearby. Turns out it's a visiting health minister. He doesn't even hesitate. He races to the district magistrate, explains everything, and in this incredible act of compassion, the minister agrees, brings the girl onto his already full helicopter, puts her on his own lap, and flies her to a better hospital in Dehradun.
And the girl? She survived. She made it. But for Dr. Aswal, that was the moment. Everything just clicked into place. He realized that if he hadn't been there, if that helicopter hadn't landed by pure chance, she would have died. He knew right then and there that his true mission was to be a doctor for these people, right where they live, right where they needed him the most.
You know, that one incident with that little girl, it was like a window into a much, much bigger problem. It made Dr. Aswal realize that this lack of care wasn't just a one-off thing. No, it was a symptom of this quiet health crisis that's unfolding not just in the mountains, but all across the country.
I mean, he points to the latest national stats, and they're pretty staggering. Think about it. 11.4% of India's population has diabetes. Another 15.3% are pre-diabetic, just teetering on the edge. And hypertension? Over a third of the population, 35.5%. This isn't just a big city problem anymore. It's everywhere.
Now you'd think, right? The fresh mountain air, the lifestyle, that should protect people from this stuff. But here's what really blew Dr. Aswal's mind. When he started going from village to village, setting up health camps, he found those exact same national averages right there in the hills of Uttarakhand. The silent epidemic had found its way here too, and it was mostly going completely undiagnosed.
So once you realize the scale of the problem, what do? Dr. Aswal knew that as one person, he could only do so much. He needed a plan. He needed a structure, something that could scale up and really tackle this crisis head-on. And that led him to create a formal organization.
So he did it. He officially registered the Aswal Foundation. By creating a public charitable trust, he built this sustainable platform to organize health camps, to raise funds, and, really importantly, to bring more volunteers and partners into the mission.
And if you look at the foundation's goals, you see it's about so much more than just prescriptions and checkups. It's about total community wellness. We're talking mental health support, first aid training for emergencies, even art and sports programs for kids. It's about building a healthier society from the ground up.
And all of this, everything he does, it all comes back to his core philosophy. It's about a deeper, more human idea of what it really truly means to heal someone.
He has this quote that it really hits you. He believes that real healing doesn't start with a pill. It starts with connection. It starts with compassion, with making a person feel seen, feel cared for. In his world, a doctor isn't just a technician for the human body. They're a healer for the whole person.
So what's the ultimate goal here? It's a vision that's both simple and incredibly profound. It's not just about adding years to life, but adding life to those years. He imagines a future where wellness and prevention let people live long, healthy, vibrant lives, able to contribute and start new chapters, whether they're 60, 80, or even older.
You know, Dr. Aswal's story really leaves you with a big question to chew on. We're so used to thinking that healthcare is this thing that happens inside the four walls of a clinic or a hospital. But what if he's right? What if the real future of health is built on connection and compassion right in the heart of our own communities?
Look, if this story inspired you, you can follow Dr. Aswal's journey on his social media. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.